having an open mind about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel that people sometimes judge it or are afraid of it just because of religion. And I think, like for me, I grew up Jehovah's Witness, and um, doing those kinds of things like meditation or yoga or the breath work would be something that's taboo, like that's the devil stuff, or and um, but what religion really is control. They put fear in us. They make you feel worthless. They tell you, like, you're born a sinner, so you need to ask for forgiveness. And there's just a lot that entails to be in a religion, especially like the Jehovah's Witness, the one I grew up in, and how it's always fear based, fear
Mm-hmm.
based, and judgment. There's so much judgment. And when I was in, I never saw it. But with the day that I made the decision to leave, it kind of was like this veil was taken out of me, where I saw, like, oh my God, what was going on?
Well, it's like the programming,
Yes.
right? It's programming the conditioning, right? Of the fear and the shame and the guilt, and like you're born a sinner, so you have like all this debt that your life is indebted in God.
Yes.
And which I grew up also Jehovah's
Yes.
Witness, and I think now um I do believe in God. I am
Yes.
very spiritual, and I don't believe that I don't believe you need a religion to have a connection to God. I believe you are in connection already through God, right? Because made in the image. And um but what I've what I what for myself, I can only speak for myself, is that when I hear, like, let's say a pastor talking or a priest talking, I just only take in the messages that is being told, maybe that I needed to hear, and
Mm.
then I just leave it at that. I
Mm.
don't follow the faith. I don't, just the messages that I feel like I need to be heard, and then anything else is just noise. Um, but definitely, growing up, it was hard being Jehovah's Witness. Like
It's
I
very hard
was,
to be a kid.
yeah, we didn't celebrate holidays. We didn't celebrate anything. And I remember I would always be bullied, or friends would stop talking to me entirely because I was Jehovah's Witness. And that was hard. That was so hard. So I know, I remember that I would not tell people I was Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
I would just say, "Oh, Christian." Yeah, because I didn't wasn't lying, because it was
Yeah, it
still
was
was under
the
the
umbrella.
umbrella of Christianity.
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Yeah, Christianity." And when I remember in college, this someone asked me like, "Oh, so how was Christmas, or how was your Christmas?" And I was like, "Oh, it was good. Yeah." But we were not celebrating Christmas. We're all just home in our own rooms, and so that was like tough. That was really tough. And
Yes.
I think I realize that now, is that's why I love celebrating my birthdays, because I never had that. So that's why for my birthday I like to go big and like celebrate and do something. And I think that's why I also do that with Zaylee's birthday. I go big on her birthday. I want birthday parties and this, and I want people to come over, because
People.
we never had that, right?
Yeah.
Because in the faith, in the church, you cannot be friends that are not in the church,
Yeah.
because
Well,
they're considered worldly
it's
people.
recommended because they don't tell you not to,
But basically, you
but they're
can't.
constantly talking about it.
But basically, you
Where,
can't
yeah,
go.
that if you hang out with people that are non-believers, then that they're gonna mess with you, and it's gonna mess with your
They're going to
brand.
confuse you.
Yes.
They're going to confuse you. So we don't want you to be confused. So it's better that you just stay with us, and we'll
Keep
shelter
the
you and
distance.
protect you, so you don't hang out with them.
Hmm.
So, but it's just interesting until, I think, even in the faith, like I don't think that yeah, they're welcoming, but also it's all superficial. It's all like a
Yes.
facade. It's all fake. And there's like a lot of hypocrisy, right? Because
Yes.
like they welcome everybody and everyone's welcome, but like if you don't look the part, then
Yes.
you cannot hang out with us. We say hi from a distance, but we won't invite you to events. We won't invite you to this.
Yes. They keep a distance from you.
Yeah, it is a lot of that
So that
in
in
the
itself
church.
is shaming.
Oh yeah, because it's like high school.
Mhm.
Like you're not in the cool kids, so you can't hang out with me. But they also say don't be materialistic. You can't be materialistic. But yet the higher ups, their wives are all materialistic. They have the shoes, they have the bag, they have this, and like, what are you wearing? What kind of bag do you have? What kind of shoes do you have? And if you don't have the shoes that I like or the brand that I like, then you cannot hang out with us, or we won't
Mhm.
invite you. So it's like this whole like fake facade type
Mhm.
religion. But I also believe it's a cult. 100% it's a cult. And and just how they shun you, right? Like let's say if you commit a sin in their eyes, and they'll shun you
Mhm.
until they feel like you have earned
Mhm.
to come back in the church. And shunned, I mean, people will not talk to you. Like you have to sit by yourself.
Yes.
Like
Until they feel that you're
you
ready to be brought back
like your
in.
punishment is over.
Yes.
But I think in that moment, that's when we need people the
Someone the
most,
most.
right? Because we
Yes.
just committed this sin. So how are you going to shun me because I? So there's even more shame and there's more guilt on top of the shame and the
That you
guilt that
already
was
had.
already applied.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely like a huge programming, and I think like the programming occurs without even realizing you're even being programmed
No, you
during the
don't.
church
Yeah.
at all.
Because you're love bombed. So you already come from pain or whatever you're coming from. And then that, so then you feel loved and you think they're loving you and they're like welcoming you. But like you just said, it's all a facade. And I remember when I told someone after I left, after I made that choice, and I told someone not to please don't send me any more of their propaganda, their magazines or anything. And she said, "Oh, how I miss the old Susie." And I'm like, I'm still the same person.
Just with my eyes open.
Just I have a different spiritual
Viewpoint.
belief now,
Yeah.
but I'm still the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they made a choice not to no longer speak to me. And I remember one time specifically, Christopher had not been attending because he was in college, and then it'd probably been a year that he hadn't gone, and then he went and he had his beard
Mm.
because he was doing it in solidarity to testicular cancer. So it's for October, and I remember an elder specifically came up to me after the meeting and said, like, why is he like that with his beard? Like, he should know better than to come here like that. When your husband, that hasn't really been coming, he's well shaven and. So I said, oh, it's because he's doing it for testicular, because this is the month for testicular cancer. And and when I walked away, I thought, why wouldn't you approach him and welcome him?
Yeah, we haven't seen you.
Oh, we haven't seen you. Where have you been? Are you doing okay? The first thing he did was criticize what didn't look like the picture that our family should have been looking like, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, I just started thinking, like, am I in the right place?
Well, I did feel like I felt like our family was definitely like the black sheep of the church. Like everyone looked down upon us.
Well, because then, like, Christopher was involved in
But
sports.
even like before that, like just everyone was just always looking down on us. We weren't really invited to anything, and it was just I don't know. I felt a certain when I think that's why I didn't feel like I belong. I felt like I never belonged in the church ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even when I started my yoga practice, I think that was like the beginning of my journey within myself and my relationship with God and spirituality, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, there is something different, that I resonate with,
Yes.
that I am able to connect in my own way to God. And um like I remember they look down upon people who have tattoos, who have piercings and this and that,
Yes.
because like you're gonna party, you're gonna have lots of sex, and you're gonna like basically, like I felt like they made it seem like it's this whole big orgy party that if you
If you have a tattoo.
yeah, if you have a tattoo, and
Mm-hmm.
like if you drink, like if you have one drink, whatever. And so I remember when I left the faith, I remember like when I left the faith, I kind of went not crazy, but I rebelled.
Rebel.
I rebelled. And that's when I had like when I got like my hand tattoos. And when I got my hand tattoos, it was like a little bit of rebellion. Even though like it was like years after I left the
Mm-hmm.
church, but it was like rebellion, and then like the death of my brother. And it was just like, like I am in I'm in power of my own body. What I
Yes.
say goes because I said it.
Yes.
And I remember when I went to TJ Maxx and I saw someone. This was like years later. Like I don't know, maybe like 6, 7 years later. I saw someone from the church, and immediately I felt guilt. I felt shame. Oh my gosh, Brittany, you have tattoos. Like this is in my mind. Like Brittany, you have tattoos. What are they gonna think about you? Like they're gonna think that you're a partier. They're gonna think that you drink. And mind you, I do not drink.
No.
I do not drink. So I was afraid of how they were going to view me because of my tan tattoos. And then I just felt immediate guilt and shame and like how they viewed me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
because I guess I valued what
Their
their
point.
opinion about me or
Mm-hmm.
how they viewed me. Until after I left, I was like, no, like I don't care what they think about me because I know who I am, and I never knew who I was up until this point in
To
my
this.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't party, I don't drink, I don't do any of that. So whatever perception they have of me, that's
On them.
them.
Mm-hmm.
That's none of my business because
Mm-hmm.
I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a big aha moment. And I think that was kind of like ripping the band-aid of the
The
programming
programming.
that had occurred throughout the
Mm-hmm.
years when I was in that church.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly right. Even, when I married your dad and all his, well, his family's Catholic and they celebrate everything. So, oh, how I loved it the first time when I went and how I saw the family together. I had never experienced Christmas, so I didn't know what Christmas was. I didn't know what celebrating Christmas was
so you were in the faith.
since I was a little kid.
So grandma was in the faith since she was little. Oh
Hmm.
wow, I didn't know that.
So I didn't. I have in my life. I'm 58 years old, and I've never celebrated my birthday,
Up until now.
or I've never had a birthday party.
But we're getting there.
Yes, because I'm gonna go to Nogales this year and celebrate my birthday with my aunt. We have the same birthday, and she's gonna show me how to go big. But even when I was going with your dad to his family to celebrate the holidays, I was, a witness. So I had so much guilt, but I enjoyed myself. But I had so much guilt. This is gonna cost my life. What about my children's lives? Oh my God, I can't believe this. But the day when I made the choice to leave because I had my reasons, I had absolutely no more guilt. I felt no guilt and I felt no shame. And it's crazy because before I made this decision, this choice, it was all about guilt and shame. I felt it all the time when I would go because I felt like a hypocrite. How
Yeah.
can I go over there? Then I come here and I pretend and then I go and then the day I made the choice and I stopped, it was just gone. And now I know that my relationship with God is me and God.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it in front of people. I don't have to go into a place and pretend that I'm in love with all these people and I'm gonna pray or whatever it is that you want to do in a religion. So I think that it says a lot about a person when you wake up. You kind of wake up, you have a veil, and you're like, oh, you only see this. But once you see the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're able to think for yourself, when someone's
Yeah.
not telling you how you're supposed to live your life, what you're supposed to do every day.
What's like it's like
Yes.
those people, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Critical.
yeah, but also
Critical.
like I don't know. I think of like when I think when I'm doing this, I'm thinking of like a teacher
Oh yeah.
with a ruler and just, like
Yes.
kind of like undermining you and like,
You're wrong. You're
yeah,
wrong.
you're
You're wrong.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's bring out the Bible. You're wrong.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bible this, which yes, right? Uh, you're able to read the Bible
Hmm.
and interpret the Bible what resonates with you. But I feel as if sometimes religion twists the words of the Bible,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And they twist it so in their own words where that's where I feel like that's where the brainwashing comes into
Hmm.
play,
The
right?
fear and the shame and the brainwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also to each their own, right? Like if you have a religion, you have a faith and you're in it, cool, and it's
And if
worked
it's
wonders,
worked for
then
you,
good,
yes.
great. But I'm thinking about my
Right.
personal experience with Jehovah's Witness. And I think that's why it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth with religion.
Hmm.
And but also religion's not perfect either. But there's just so much more beyond, religion in itself.
In
And I think
itself.
that's why like if I go to, a Catholic church or, or a Christian church, I just take in the messages that resonate with me and don't really dwell myself into the
Hmm.
church, right? But I also believe it's also good to have community too,
Yes, it's very important.
you
I believe
know.
it's very important.
So it's just finding what's right for you.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what you have to look for. And going in with your eyes open and understanding that they have this is what they're teaching. Do I want to be part of this? So I think perhaps I've gone to a couple of different now that I'm looking to see like, okay, what about here? What do
Mm-hmm.
I fit here? How does this feel? And like you just said, there's things that I'll take them in and said, okay, this
This resonates with the
yeah,
message I need, and then the other,
yeah, it's okay. It's for other people,
yeah,
and that's okay. So I think right now with my spirituality, with my belief, I believe in a higher power. I believe that we're all here for a reason.
mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that shame and guilt that I felt when I was there.
Yeah,
That's gone.
yeah. I I I do believe I still have shame and guilt because there's times where I'm just like questioning myself, but I think it's all goes into like the programming. I think sometimes you're never gonna release
Yeah,
it
because it's still in
because it's
there.
still in there, right? It's still in our subconscious, but it's
Hmm.
like navigating through it
Yes, yes.
and then always coming back to yourself, to your center.
To yourself.
And I think sometimes that's the hardest part because we're always questioning or looking for outside validation or like
Outside.
searching outside of us the answers that are outside of us. But when we understand that everything is
Within.
within ourselves, we have the answers. And I think even like I always say this, like even when I always say this to people is that even especially when we are not feeling well and we go to the doctors, like at the end of the day, you are your best doctor. You're the one that knows your body. So, but a lot of times we're just going outside of ourselves. But once we go in, that's when we're able to receive those messages
Right.
and those insights and that
Right.
wisdom and that the
Because
healing.
yeah, because we question everything.
Yeah, because we've been taught
Because we've been taught like, oh, you listen to the doctor, you listen to the pastor, you listen to the teacher, you
yeah,
listen to the adult, you listen to the
like an obedient student.
and you don't question, and you obey and you obey, and that's what we're taught, and that's what's programmed since you're a little kid.
Yeah.
You don't question the adult, you listen to them. So when you do go to the doctor and they tell you this is what you need to do, you're like, okay. So the same thing with religion. They're like, this is the way you're supposed to live, because if not, this
You're
is going
gonna
to happen
die.
to you, and this
You're
is
gonna go to hell.
whatever it is that they teach. And so you're like, oh my God. So you're always afraid. You're working, you're living this life with fear, with, oh my God, with guilt, with shame. You're always walking that way. When do you let it go?
You don't,
When?
because you're just on survival.
You're
Because
on
you don't know.
survival
I think
mode.
at that point you don't know better, right? Because you're like, I
Yes.
want to follow, but at the same time, it's like you want to follow the faith. Like if I do good,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll go to heaven. And it's just like it's like going to school. If I get straight A's, like I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a student of the month or whatever that is. But it's understanding now, like you don't even have to go to school to be a millionaire or to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like most billionaires didn't go to school. They just learned the business.
Yeah.
And it's just unconditioned. It's like unraveling the
About unraveling
fold.
the onion.
Well, the blindfold.
Yeah.
Like there's like a thing wrapped around her head so many times, and it's like unfolding. Like oh my gosh, like oh my gosh,
That's exactly how it feels.
yeah.
That's exactly
Because
how
you're
it feels.
unraveling, and I think that is what, like for me, I feel like I was a black sheep in the family because I've always questioned things, and I always didn't do things.
You didn't follow
And I
the
didn't follow the
course.
rules.
Yeah.
I didn't follow. And I think that's what kind of led to my journey. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, there's more.
There's more.
No, like this can't be
This
it.
can be it.
Like I was just questioning with like curiosity. And I think that's what with religion, with like everything, like wellness, with like health, with yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll say that for a different episode.
Yes, we will. So yeah, but I think that with religion, it's a hard topic, and with Jehovah's Witness, they believe that if you follow everything and you do everything by the book, and you're going to be resurrected when you die.
Yeah.
So there is no heaven. They don't believe in that, but they believe that you will die and that God will resurrect you back to this earth.
In paradise.
In paradise.
To live forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's all shame and guilt. And I am so grateful to you because you're the one that pushed me until I was able to stand up for myself and see it. Because although you would tell me and you would take me, I still had my blindfolds on, and I still wasn't.
But I don't even think that also, yes, the blindfold, yes, but I think that goes with like their healing aspect. But I think even like when I left college, when I moved out, it was like, oh, you're gonna go to the meetings.
Oh yeah.
Or are you gonna do this? Oh, you're not gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a lot of just
Because I would do that. Like,
just a lot
how
of
come you don't look for a church around your
guilt,
house?
just a lot of guilt, and it's like no, like
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay. But it was just like, so then I was like a lot of guilt on that and that. But it's like, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Right. So, but I know that you had mentioned to me too, like, okay, well, if my kids are not going, then I'm not going either. Like, because then
Yeah.
I'm just going to be in paradise by myself without my kids because my kids are not even in the faith because that's what we're taught. Well, if you're following what you need to follow, you'll go to paradise. And if your kids follow what they're supposed to do, then they'll be in paradise and you guys will be in paradise together. But if your kids don't, then they're not going to paradise. But you are just going to be in paradise.
Right. So, one day I was sitting there, they had a convention, and I was there by myself because my kids were not going anymore. They had made their own choices. And I'm sitting there, and I remember these two ladies talking behind me, and one of them's whispering, but the other one's really loud. She's being loud, not yelling, but loud, where I can hear her. So the lady that was being quiet was asking her, like, how do you do it? Because your kids were disfellowshipped, or her kids had been disfellowshipped. And the lady that was asking, her kid had just been disfellowshipped. So she was like, I don't know how to manage this because when you're disfellowshipped, you're not supposed to talk to your kids.
You're shunned.
They're done.
Yeah.
Like they're
Until
done
they're reinstated back.
unless they want to come back and reinstate and start over and start back with their religion. So the lady wanted to know, how do I do this? Because I have so much pain that I can't talk to my kids. So the other lady that was being kind of loud, she goes, "Oh no, I don't know. I don't even know my grandkids." And when I heard her say that, I already had a granddaughter. I got up and I left. And that day, I said, if my kids are not going to be in the religion with me, then what's the whole point? If I can't even have a relationship with my grandchildren because I'm choosing this church, what is the point? So that day, it was during lunch, and I got my purse and I just left because I said, there's no way that I'm not going to have a relationship with my children for this.
Yeah.
And I was already having doubts. And when I heard that, that was just a confirmation.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I did that. Because I don't know where I would be.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm very grateful that you're not in the church.
Yes.
Because I don't think that we would be where we are now. But I don't think that you would have shunned us. I don't think you would have shunned us. I think it would just be different in the sense like we wouldn't be like coming together for celebrations and for holidays or anything like that. But I don't think you would stop completely talking to us.
No, absolutely not.
But it's interesting because like I always thought like I would marry young, and I thought I would marry a man inside the church. And when I realized that wasn't happening for me, because that's what Jehovah's like people do, like they'll marry early, or not early, but young. And when I realized there was no prospects for me, like I would try, but there's no prospects. And when I realized that, I was like, I'm grateful that I didn't, because I wouldn't be where I was now. Like I wouldn't be me, Brittany. Like I probably would be Brittany Jehovah's Witness, like still knocking on people's
It'd be more complicated
doors and stuff. So I'm very grateful that there was never a prospect for me ever. And like it's just crazy because I would go to Spanish, I would go to English, I would go to different churches,
looking for someone like
not looking, but just like maybe meeting
here,
friends, but meeting friends, and then like and when I realized, okay, that's not happening. Okay, well, there's a reason why that's not happening. And I'm so grateful that I didn't. Was not, because I probably would still be in the church.
Or you guys will both be out, or you would be out and he'd be in, or vice versa.
Yeah, and that would be so complicated. So
yes, very complicated. Because when you guys were growing up, I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Yeah.
We celebrated, but we didn't. But we celebrated, but we didn't.
Yeah, but I think that stopped like in elementary school. And in elementary school, that's when it was just like, okay, no, we're not celebrating. That's it.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't at all.
Yeah. Because I got baptized.
Yeah, you got baptized, and after you got baptized,
I was like, that's it. I can't.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting when you bring religion into topics, because everybody has an opinion.
Yeah, I think it goes with politics and everything, but I think it's just when you're just listening or understanding your own story or your own experience with the religion. That's why I think for me, religion has left a sour taste in my mouth because of what it has done to me emotionally, but also understanding that there is a huge, profound experience when you do have a connection with God.
Yes. Because that stays with you.
Yeah, if you're you're in connection with God.
Yes.
So
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So thank you.